Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmitty, Swanee and Clarky visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right, how are we?
Very well. How are you guys?
Very, very good. Good to see your faces.
So good to see everyone again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's right, yeah.
It has been a very happy New Year so far. 13 days in.
Yes. So, yes, we're recording mid-January. Swanee is finally back from the Arc and Europe.
Yeah.
We're very pleased to see her. We are back. Any news?
Just trying to think.
Other than going all around the world?
No, we had a wonderful sort of Christmas trip, and I took some notes as we were going around, putting in my phone of little crimes that I would hear of here and there, thinking because I know I won't remember. And of course, when I went back to look at them, I was like, I have no idea when I even put those down. But yeah, fortunately, it was a crime-free holiday. But yeah, it was wonderful. But yes, happy to be back. How was your trip, Schmitty? I've not spoken to you in person since your return.
Yeah, it was good. It was, it was seeing people and stuff, which we really enjoyed. Great to catch up with the Massive and everyone. It was really good, yeah.
Oh, that's good, darling.
Oh, it feels like a long time ago now, though. It's all of 5 or 6 weeks. Yep.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've got no news. I'm back at work. Had my nephew's 21st. He's the second last child to go to be 21 now.
God, everyone's so grown up.
I know.
Crazy.
When he was little, he was born around the same time as Charlie, who's the youngest, and he's a couple of years older. He's 21, I think she's 19. And when he was quite small, he used to be always sort of paired with Charlie. Mm-hmm. And I remember when he was about 3 or 4 going, why do I always have to play with the baby? But there were lots of really cute photos of them together when they were little, so it's very sweet, yeah. Yeah, so that's me, I guess. Boys, what about you?
No news, just the usual, getting into the routine of life again after a couple of weeks off.
All right, then I suppose we should introduce ourselves. I'm Schmitty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarky. And together we are
Trial by Wine.
2025 edition.
Ooh, and what are we drinking? I know, I can't believe we're up to episode 171. Anyway.
God.
I know, right? Anyway, what are we drinking?
We're on Aldi's Finest Rosé. Oh,
I've had that one before, yes.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's just a nice little French rosé from the Loire Valley. Goes all right.
Swanee? Soda water? Coke Zero?
Kind of. I didn't do it on purpose, but the water fountain downstairs dry and there's nothing else in the house. So I'm on tap water with like a thing called... it's like a herbal thing you put in water to...
A tincture?
Probably not. It's called Bassica. It's supposed to, neutralise your water. I don't know. No one wants to know that. But it doesn't taste too bad. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're on SodaStream. I'm on something sort of similar. I'm trying to be good. I've got a SodaStream.
Oh, they do look matchy-matchy, don't they? There you go. I don't feel so bad. I was a bit embarrassed to reveal it. But now I don't feel quite so bad.
Mine's got a zero sugar lemon syrup in it. And so I'm actually drinking a little bit of that with a touch of Aldi's Finest vodka. Tomova vodka. Darling. Just a touch because I need to keep myself neat.
Why?
I haven't drunk a lot over the Christmas, but
Why?
I think I'm getting to the point where I realise that alcohol and I, a little bit's fine, but it doesn't take much now to get, because of the keto and whatever, it doesn't take much to get me drunk, and then it doesn't take much to give me a hangover, and I'm not enjoying that. So I'm just trying to be gentle with it. Yeah.
That's been my entire relationship with alcohol. I love it, but I'm not very good on it. That's the sad part. I have to be so particular. I don't know. I wish I was better. And then some days it's fine. I can drink it. It doesn't seem to affect me. And other times I'm dreadful on it. So... I just have to stick to my tequila and my vodka and my champagne and I'm right. But, they're not really a Monday afternoon. Well, you would prove otherwise, I guess.
Well, I was going to say, what are you talking about? Anyway, it's Monday evening here in Victoria. So, yes, it's post-work. Clarky, what have you got for us?
I reckon this is a cracker. I think you're going to enjoy it, albeit there is death. which is the least enjoyable part of the story.
Mm.
I'll go straight into my
After the
sources
coolers.
just to get them out of the way because that's the way we roll. So The Age, ABC, Wikipedia, Now to Love, 9 News, Daily Telegraph, and The New Daily.
A domestic story?
Yes.
Perchance.
Yes. Kind of.
Okay.
There's a lot to it.
Okay.
Over the Christmas break, I received a text from a great friend and one of our listeners. She's recommended stories before. She knows who she
I was
is.
going to say,
Hi.
and our great listener.
Yeah. The text went something like this. Catching up with a friend, she shared this crime. The perp lived in her apartment.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Dun,
what?
dun, dun.
That's
Right.
a lot. And it got my mind going straight away. Like so many questions. Like, was she renting an apartment to the perp?
Yeah.
Was she in the same apartment block as the perp? Who
Oh,
was
I've
the
assumed
perp?
Yeah, they had
apartment
flatmates.
block.
Yeah,
What did the
yeah.
perp do?
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So this story comes from Melbourne's eastern suburbs, which are generally regarded as well-to-do and relatively safe.
Are
Generally
they,
speaking.
hang on a
they?
map. Never.
What are we talking about
What
when
is
we
eastern
say
suburbs?
inner eastern suburbs?
Yeah,
Tell me,
I'd say
there's a non-Melbourneian.
inner.
Yeah. Right, the posher ones.
Yeah.
Give me a couple of names.
Yeah, one of the
geographical.
posher ones. So it's that sort of Kew,
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne, Glen Iris, that sort of
Glen Iris,
band.
Okay. Oh, okay. I've stayed in Glen Iris. Yeah, as a child. Yep.
Yeah. So this friend had bought an apartment and moved into it. And one day she was out the front of her car, which was parked in her car space. And a random woman came up and said, "Did you know that right where your car is parked was once taped off and there was a whole lot of blood?" Could you imagine that? Like,
no, I did not know that. Thanks for letting
That
me know.
If I didn't know that
a
person, I'd be
lot.
like, I'd ignore them and go, thank you. They would be freaking me out.
Would you? I'd
Well,
be
right,
like, hang
that's
on a
what
second. I'm getting my black light and I'm getting
On you
my
go, lady.
luminol and I'm going to suss this out.
Yep. And so that's it. She blurted it out and then no softening, no further explanation, and off she went.
Yeah, crazy.
So let
All
me
right then,
tell you
ciao.
more about this story because I do think you'll like it. So this is the story of Robyn Jane Lindholm. Heard of her?
No.
Great.
Robyn Jane Linton.
Lindholm, Lindholm.
Lindholm. Okay.
I heard Linton too. Okay.
Lindholm.
Sorry,
Right.
yeah.
That's right. Got it.
So Robyn was born in the Melbourne suburb of Glen Waverley on the 8th of March 1973 to her father Raymond, who was a welder, and her mother Dorothy, who was a nurse.
Oh my God, it sounds like me. Kind of.
Oh, well,
Same here.
she was an animal lover with honey blonde hair
Yeah, no, not me.
who received considerable affection from both parents,
Oh.
who would often go without to provide her so that Robyn wanted for nothing.
Oh.
As a child, she attended Kilvington Grammar School, which at the time was known as Kilvington Girls Grammar. It's a private Baptist school located in Ormond in the Glen Ira region of Melbourne.
Posh. Yeah.
Yes, and she later attended Malvern Girls High School, also located in a desirable part of town. And at the age of 13, she won the Victorian Ice Skating Championships.
Oh, did she?
Which is interesting for
Victorian
Melbourne.
ice skating, it's not like I didn't think that was a massive sport for.
Well, maybe that's why
Melbournians.
she won. Maybe she wasn't very good, but no one else did it. I don't know.
Because the only time I ever think about ice skating was like around winter when the Sydney Myer Music Bowl.
Yes,
they used
back
to
in the
put
day.
little- I think I'm not sure if they still do it.
I don't think they
put
do.
an ice rink there. Yeah, I wouldn't do it now. I'd be too scared of falling over and breaking something. But yeah, I have been to that other one
very wise.
down in Docklands. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, so I think she was actually quite good. Anyway, an injury cut her sporting career short.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Tonya Harding? Was that her name? Was it Tonya Harding?
Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two.
What an incident.
Yes. Once her sporting career was cut short, she applied herself in school and was accepted to study science at prestigious Monash University. She hoped to transfer into veterinary science.
Because she was what'd you say, honey-coloured hair,
Honey blonde.
animal lover? Honey blonde animal lover.
Yeah,
Right.
you bet. Robyn studied hard for about 18 months. But when
And
she
then
didn't
went,
get
"Fuck
the
this
marks
shit."
she needed to be a vet, she shifted into a technical institute course in animal husbandry. So, yes.
Oh, hang on a minute. She
that's
went to a TAFE is what you're saying.
Well, you know.
And nothing wrong with that.
At 19, however, she dropped out and got a job at a car dealership and later
What year?
started
Sorry,
working.
what year are we talking? What years are we talking about now?
She was born in
She's my
73,
age,
so
yeah.
92.
Oh, right, okay. So, okay.
So then she started working as a hostess at Crown Casino, for those who don't know. So she really has dived.
So there's a real shift from being like a vet to going
Yeah.
to a car dealership and then
Correct.
to like, okay, I'll just have to use my looks or whatever.
By the time she started working at Crown, she was a leggy blonde woman and was popular in the high roller mahogany room.
Oh,
Leggy
Which is
blonde,
the
leggy
fancy
blonde,
one.
Leggy. Have you Flight of the
you're
Conchords?
a leggy blonde, Schmitty.
Yeah, but Flight of the Conchords. Have you ever heard?
No, I have not. I know who they are,
Song
but I
called
haven't.
Leggy Blonde. Anyway, leggy.
So-
Is that what Tony sings to you?
No, he doesn't. No.
Right. So when she was working in the mahogany room, she attracted the attention of underworld figure Alphonse Gangitano.
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you who don't
Underbelly, here we go.
Right.
Alphonse
yeah.
who?
Alphonse Gangitano.
Gangitano.
So
He was the Black
Gangitano.
Prince of Lygon Street. He was a key figure in the underbelly shows.
Yeah, he was. He was a big mobster.
And she quickly became enamoured of the lifestyle of the rich with all its luxuries.
He was a pretty nasty fellow by all accounts too.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, Robyn,
So-
I don't know if I like this
She's running
path
with a
you're
bad
taking.
crowd. Yeah.
From being a little private school girl wanting to be a vet, she
Yes.
certainly things are
That-
taking a bit of a
A
down a different
turn.
path. I
It's a
wonder what her parents
slippery
are thinking. I
slope.
bet they're concerned.
Exactly right. So Robyn wanted more and was well and truly sucked into the world of wealth, so she began working as a stripper under the name
couldn't see that coming.
Colette.
Where?
which
Not
helped
in the
pay-
mahogany room.
Not in the mahogany room, no.
St
But
Kilda, where do
she
you
was-
strip?
There would have been a few places back then, I
Oh,
reckon. King Street.
King Street, I'd
Street's
say.
always
Yeah.
good for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was their golf? I was going to say Goldfinger. That doesn't sound right.
There was, Goldfingers was there.
Yeah.
Gold
Goldfingers.
member.
There was, I don't know, all the gentlemen's clubs were there.
Gold digits.
Probably still are.
No, not as much. I don't think there's gone a bit.
I think online serves a lot of the purpose for that sort of stuff. I think I could be wrong.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
You think it wouldn't, but I know
Just
what you mean.
before I met Tony, I was
Dancing.
entertaining a gentleman. Well, I was just talking to really. I wasn't interested in him, but he had been an ex-manager of one of those strip clubs, which is
Yeah.
one of the things that put me right off him, if I'm honest.
Wise.
There's a
Yeah.
small flag there, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a relatively big
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So, but he was probably a little bit younger than Tony, not much, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's just something about that whole scene that I'm like, no, thanks.
So back in the 90s, like I work in the steel industry, as you know, it was quite common to do customer entertainment at those sorts of venues. And I think a lot of that business side of things has died away, certainly from most industries where you take your customers
Yeah,
out
well-
to a strip joint.
Particularly, it depends on I mean, it's just not the done thing so much anymore. But like in sales and that, people used to, depending, like in financial services and stuff, if you were dealing with predominantly male clientele, you'd do that. But nowadays, it's like you can't do anything in government. You got to.
You wouldn't even have the budget these days, would you? You wouldn't be allowed to allocate.
No, but you're not
money
allowed
like
to
that,
go
would you?
anywhere. Like, so if someone
Yeah.
invited me to anything, I have to turn it down. It's gifts and benefits. No, can't take it.
God.
I know it's really dull. Get no perks whatsoever. But
No perks.
otherwise, you're up for corruption.
Yeah.
IBAC, anti-corruption, all that stuff. Yeah.
Jeepers.
Rightio, back to the story. So Colette, the stripper, was very good at what she did, and her stripping helped her to pay for a large mortgage she took out at the age of 20 to buy a
Jesus.
30-hectare rural property at Glenhope, north of
Jeepers.
Melbourne.
30 hectare. Jesus.
Yeah. She'd always wanted to live in the country, have horses, and live a quiet life.
She
That's
just
why
thought
she was
she
stripping.
career to
She
be
just
living a
thought she
quiet
would
life.
go hard, go early.
It's a bit similar in some ways to, do you remember I did the vampire gigolo fellow
Yeah.
who also got caught up
Also
with,
part of this crowd, yeah.
yeah, with the same crowd. That was 2002, I think, so a little bit later. Yeah, same thing. He just wanted a quiet life. He was stripping and being a gigolo to earn the money to get out.
So that is what she said. Stripping was a means to achieving her real estate goal, And once she had enough money together, she'd be out. She was a beautiful woman and did well in her chosen career. In the mid-90s, World magazine, an offshoot of Truth newspaper, who can forget that, hired 15 strippers, including Colette, and run a stunt that was reported around the world. There was a US nuclear-powered warship in Melbourne at the time. Truth called media outlets and announced a nude protest on the docks. The women carried placards reading "Nuclear-free nudes" and "Pussies for peace."
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
Love it. I reckon that might have been close, maybe a little bit before the time that the French were bombing in Mururoa Atoll. Do you remember that?
Oh, gosh.
There was a bit of
Imagine
nuclear stuff going on.
Poor Sue Lindholm, or whatever Robyn Jane's mum is, her friends going, I saw Robyn Jane in the newspaper the other day.
With her "Pussies for peace" sign.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I knew she liked animals. That Pussies for Peace. How lovely.
Yeah. Well, there were no cats, though, weirdly. I couldn't quite understand it.
Ugh.
Anyway, so somewhere along the way, Robyn began to lose her way.
Somewhere.
Yes. It's honestly, it's hard to work out where, and you'll understand why. She held to her dream of buying a farm, but the men she became attached to were dangerous, unstable, and involved in the city's volatile amphetamine trade. So there was that one we spoke about earlier, her much reported but little detailed stint as the love of Carlton thug Alphonse Gangitano.
Oh, they were actually together, were they? I missed that. I just think they were just associates. So, like, she was
they
serving
had.
him.
It's
Dalliance.
like I said, it's not much. There's no detail on it. I was Googling it madly trying to find out what I could, but I couldn't. But in 1998, Schmitty, you'll like this, Alphonse was executed in his underwear in his home as part of Melbourne's gangland war.
Correct. Yeah.
Jeepers.
That cut all those dreams short for you, Robyn.
That's a completely irrelevant fact to the story, but also a funny one. So, well, funny that it was.
I don't think it's that funny. Anyway.
Yeah, that's the funny bit. The rest of it, zero funny.
And we did talk a bit, for our listeners, we did talk a little bit about the underworld gangland wars that were happening in the, can't remember what it's called, but the Vampire Gigolo episode.
True fact. Go back and listen to that. In 1998, Robyn met a new boyfriend named George Teasis. Teazis. So George was reportedly the leader of a gang of Greeks in Richmond, and Robyn hoped George might rise up in the criminal world and become another Alphonse Gangitano.
Well, you always have aspirations for your boyfriend, don't you?
Right. Yeah.
How many Greeks run mob outfits? Isn't it normally mob, like Italians? And
normally, it's normally
nowadays it's the Arabs.
I feel like you're being a bit discriminatory here.
I might
You're a bit of a Greek gang.
Maybe, but they're not as famous to me. They don't sit in my mind as much as the Italians in Lygon Street.
They're
and
not
nowadays
as well known.
It's the Arabs with the
cigarette shops.
Cigarette wars, yeah.
Yeah, lots of that. She moved into his home in Reservoir, where George lived with his 16-year-old son, Ross.
Reservoir.
In 2003...
Is it not Reservoir?
It's Reservoir, if you don't mind.
Is that right?
If you're a local, you call it Reservoir.
It is, 100% Reservoir, yeah.
Is it spelt the same?
It's Reservoir.
Yes.
Let's face it. That's how you should say it. But if you're a local to that area,
the suburbs, you call it Reservoir.
If you said Reservoir, people wouldn't know where you were talking about.
Oh, you think you're fancy?
It's Reservoir.
they'd say which one, because there are reservoirs around Melbourne, but Reservoir is not one.
Okay, good to know. There you go. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So in 2003. George was arrested for possessing amphetamines with a sawn-off shotgun and ammunition without a license, as well as manufacturing unauthorised explosives, cultivating cannabis, and for 2 counts of breaching an intervention order. And he did time in prison. After that incident, he decided he didn't want to go back to jail and that being a gangster was no longer fun. So he changed his name to George Templeton and was trying to go straight, having returned to the family trade as a carpet layer, working with his brother Nick. There's 2 good Greek names, George and Nick.
Templeton.
Templeton, yeah.
Yeah. So Nick is still Teasis. George is Templeton because only George changed his name to get away from the dodgy bad days. He took his son Ross on as an apprentice. The hours were long, the work hard on the knees and back. George was a hard worker and was really trying hard to create a better life. He loved his seafood and steak, often with a hearty Greek salad and a cold beer on a hot day.
Who doesn't?
I know, right? Well, the seafood bit,
Yeah, keep the seafood.
not so much.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the rest
All
of
right,
it,
fair enough.
love
That's
it.
you. Yeah.
His family were close-knit and they accepted Robyn into their lives. In April 2005, George called one of his brothers in tears. He'd just caught Robyn in bed with another man and they'd had a violent fight. His family said that he planned to leave Robyn. Then, on the 2nd of May 2005, George, as he did every year, performed his ritual of drinking Metaxa brandy to commemorate the anniversary of his father Spiros's death. Now, like I said, he did this a lot because Spiros had died from cancer in 2000, so 5 years of getting smashed on
just on the anniversary. You might never drink at any other time. Yeah.
No, just on the anniversary.
And that's a Greek
the only bit
brandy,
I know
I
of.
presume, I think.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
It's a marriage of sweet muscat wines from the Aegean Islands with fine-aged wine distillates and an aromatic bouquet of Mediterranean herbs and botanicals.
Sounds like a hangover to me.
Sounds like a hangover to me too, yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you know that from memory?
I do.
Clever.
I just know so much about Metaxa. Yeah.
Amazing. So George asked Robyn to buy brandy for his ritual. She was familiar with the tradition. They'd been together for 7 years and it had been going on for, 5? So at work that day, George was in a good mood and clearly looking forward to his night of brandy and reflection, telling his brother Nick he was planning on putting a big chunk in it, in the bottle, that is. That night, Robyn made George dinner. Her friend was also at the house. Now, in true Trial by One research, I've seen 3 different names for her friend. Matilda Burke, Linda and Kate. Like, they're not even similar. So given that Matilda had a second name and Linda and Kate were only reported as first names, 100%,
okay.
Let's go with Matilda. I'm going
for
a second name.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. It was a party. So George's son Ross was playing Xbox in the bungalow at the back where he lived. By the time he finished his meal, George was well and truly smashed, according to Ross. After they ate, Robyn and Matilda smoked some weed with George, and then the women went to Matilda's house. When Robyn returned later that night, she found the front door open and George gone, and his ute was missing. And there was no sign of a break-in. At 2:43 a.m., she received a text from George that read, "Got problems, need a lift, will call soon." However, he never called and was never seen again.
Oh!
Not at all.
Yep, not at all. Never ever. Maybe only in photographs and possibly
not seen alive.
So no body.
No body found.
camcorders. No body found.
Wow, okay.
Nobody found no body.
Nobody seen?
That should be a song.
Nobody found nobody.
I got away with it because nobody found nobody.
Wow, okay.
Ross Teasus, the son, noticed the next morning that the furniture had been moved around and that a 3-metre long rug, black with a brown circular pattern, was missing. Ross recalled that George was very drunk.
I don't know about you guys. 3-metre rug, just to roll that up on its own, right? Let's assume that what we're talking about here is concealing a body in a rug to remove it. A 3-metre rug on its own rolled up is really heavy. Then add a fellow who's probably 80 kilos to
80,
it.
90 kilos.
God.
Yeah. It's a lot, isn't
I know
it?
she was a stripper and very athletic, but still.
But my Lord. So Ross
What
said
do you
that he was
mean?
very
Wasn't
drunk.
her?
Of course it wasn't. It was her 3 friends. What was it? Kate, Matilda and Leanne or
Linda.
someone?
Linda.
Yeah. So Ross recalled that George was very drunk when he came to say goodnight and that he would not have been able to put the ute in gear, let alone drive it.
Ah,
He was
bullshit.
just too drunk.
Sorry, bullshit. Motivation, right? People can drive hammered and have done.
That's what Ross said.
Ross is wrong.
Investigators found blood on the couch of George and Robyn's, but George's body was never recovered. Nobody found nobody.
That's crazy.
Over the next couple of days, Ross, then 16, says he was given a number of marijuana buds by Robyn to keep himself calm. About a week after the vanishing, he came home to find the house had been emptied and there was a moving van outside. Ross noticed that his father's F100 camper van was missing, along with his motorbike, a boat, a rear projection television, jewellery, and other assorted goods worth an uncounted tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, a boat.
Ross says he was so
Missing.
stunned at the time, He immediately went to a friend's home to settle himself. Later, he tried calling Robyn to claim his father's belongings. She eventually sent me a text that there was some stuff at the Tambo Avenue house. It was a couple of boxes on the doorstep, some clothes and his remote-controlled cars.
Which
she
I
said.
put in a boat and then towed it away.
When he asked about the vehicles, Robyn told him he'd be getting nothing, and she forwarded her solicitor's details.
Nice.
Oh, that's charming.
And they've been together 7 years. So does that make her de facto? It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't know about then, whether de facto happened that quickly, but certainly nowadays it does. By then, Robyn Lindholm had tearfully fronted a police press conference, calling for information about George's disappearance. Ross and the other Teasers family members attended. They say that prior to fronting the cameras, Lindholm was laughing and seen with her friend Matilda.
Here we go.
Robyn shed some tears as the conference played out and was seen laughing again when it was over.
What we learned from this is that if you're going to do a press conference, you've got to look sad all the way through. Can't laugh.
Do not laugh before and after.
Well, no, remember the poor fellow, and I
Peterson.
think it's been proven. No, I'm not talking about Scott Peterson. Can't remember the name. The Ballarat lady who went missing recently, and then they picked up a young kid for it in the end, who has admitted to killing her but won't tell them where the body is. But everyone was casting nasturtiums at the husband because there's a photo of him laughing with a policeman at some point.
Yeah, right.
And he's probably just letting off some steam, or the policeman said something and he's just, going along.
A photo, too, could just be smiling.
It looked like he was having a laugh, but it doesn't matter. I mean, what? For that whole period, the point is people will judge you. Be careful.
Yeah, correct.
Whether you've done anything wrong or not.
True.
So, after the conference, Ross and family went to the reservoir house to retrieve some of Ross's clothes. One family member remembers standing in the kitchen, looking at the doorway, hopefully expecting George to walk in. Robyn allegedly said, I wouldn't worry about that. He's not coming back. Police had their suspicions that George had been murdered.
Piss off.
However, his body was never found and they were unable to prove anything at the time. Soon after George disappeared... We don't even know if he's
dead.
No, that's right. Soon after George disappeared, Robyn moved in with her new love interest, Wayne Amy. So Wayne was the other man that George had seen her sleeping with, and that was in 2005. Wayne was a Hawthorn gym owner / trainer, and he was working as a personal trainer for a strip club owner. The two met in 2003 at a seedy businessman's lunch at a Richmond strip club. That's the way they rolled back then, probably still do in some circles.
I mean, it is 22 years ago.
So Wayne was a father of 5, and they started living together in 2005 after the death of George. She moved into his penthouse in Melbourne's east and enjoyed the high life. As far as anyone could tell, Robyn was in love with Wayne. Her nickname for him was Batman because she was Robyn.
Oh,
no.
She's
romantic.
So cute.
I reckon it's about there that she went down, she slipped in too far.
That's the moment.
That's the moment. So she planned to settle down with him and start a family. She began working at his gym and together they bought a farm in Bittern, a rural town southeast of Melbourne. But several years on, cracks began to show in their relationship. And in 2010, they split. Things turned nasty when they tried to divide their assets. Wayne's lawyer, Craig Henderson, said that Wayne was being threatened and that their relationship had ended because Robyn had an affair.
Oh.
Wayne was anxious about his own safety. Robyn's new lover was a man named Kyle Elliott, who later admitted to threatening Wayne. He also confessed Robyn had asked him to kill Wayne quite a few times.
Jesus.
And they'd often argued about it.
Kill him. No. Kill him.
No. Kill him. No. What part of no are you not getting?
Yes. Shh. Be quiet. You're annoying me.
I'm trying to watch the
Go
news.
away. Yeah.
I gotta go feed the horse.
I'm trying to have a poo here. Go away. Kill him.
Stop telling me to kill your ex.
Yeah.
So in March 2012, Kyle was jailed for other crimes, and by August that year, rather than waiting for her lover to be released from prison, she'd started dating another man named Aaron Michael Ardley.
She's busy.
She's hot to trot now.
Isn't she?
Robyn.
Aaron was obsessed with Robyn. And when she asked him to kill for her, he readily agreed.
Oh, Aaron.
After what me and Robyn talked about, I was under a spell, Aaron said.
Oh,
I
Aaron
wonder what
sounds
that spell
perfect for the
could
picking.
be. Any thoughts?
MP.
The old
100%.
No,
Not massive
because
pussy.
no, because MP applies where the owner of said P
Is
Yeah.
not
is
pretty.
unattractive, yeah. And so the thing that
Oh,
makes it
is
the
that a
whole
prerequisite?
idea,
You've got to be fun.
yeah, because the whole thing is how on earth could they have
Okay.
so much of a thrall, cast such a thrall over their
Yeah, fair enough.
lovers, victims, whatever, and it must be because it's a magic P.
Yes.
But isn't that similar to if they're agreeing to kill? There's got to be something magic about it, doesn't there?
I just think it's
And
manipulative, and
he
she's
said
using
in his own
everything.
words.
This is a classic femme fatale.
He said he's under a spell. It's got to be the spell of the magic pussy. I wonder,
Black
Swanee,
magic has me in its spell.
I wonder when they were protesting if it actually said magic pussies for peace, but there was like a hand over part of the magic word. Anyway, Robyn's magic pussy is not for peace.
Okay.
So Aaron began following Wayne and conducting his own surveillance work.
And by that, we don't mean on social media.
Correct. No. He lurked around Wayne's favourite restaurant and began lifting weights, later admitting that he was training to be a killer.
Oh.
I don't
What's
know
he
that
gonna do,
lifting
snap
weights
him in half?
necessarily yeah.
I wonder if he had to fill a form in when he arrived and said, what are you looking for? You know, it
What
said,
are your goals?
to tone up, lose, kill.
Yeah, kill
To become an
people,
assassin.
kill some exes.
I want to be a killer. What? No.
no.
Okay, well, in that
You
case,
need
I
to
suggest
go
you
to-
do this
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Go to another gym, but sure. Oh, in that case, I think you need to do a lot of stuff for your glutes or something. That's your ass, isn't it? That wouldn't work.
Depends how you were planning on killing
Correct.
someone.
True, if you're going to sit on them, that's all right.
Yeah, you might squeeze them in your buns of steel, Schmitty.
Well, yeah, or you could do thigh work. In one of the Pierce Brosnan, I'm sure of it, 007 Bond films.
James Bond, yeah.
Yeah, one of the female assassins squeeses men to death between her thighs and gets a sexual thrill from it.
I thought that sounded like something out of Austin Powers.
No,
does.
it's actually, I mean, in inverted commas, legitimate Bond storyline.
Okay.
So Robyn gave
Okay.
Aaron a security pass that would get him into the basement car
So
park.
impressed by. Okay. So sorry, Robyn gave what? Someone a pass to get into a basement.
Robyn gave Aaron a security pass that would get him into the basement car park of the building that she and Wayne had once lived in.
Sorry. So just to backtrack, because we've talked a bit. They broke up in 2010. She starts with this guy in 2012.
Yeah,
Why does she want to kill him?
Yeah.
Because they're splitting up their assets.
And that's still not fine.
Oh, that still hasn't been done. Okay.
So by splitting up their assets, she wants all of his assets. She's only got
by splitting
leftovers
up,
from
what she
George.
means is I want everything. Okay, right.
Correct.
I hate to have to interrupt, but I have to because I had to check it. You're right, Schmitty. And I thought it was a character out of her name is Xenia Onatop. And she's a fictional character and Bond girl in the James Bond film Goldeneye, played by Famke Janssen. She is a fighter pilot and assassin who crushes her enemies with her thighs to get
And
sexual
gets a
satisfaction.
sexual satisfaction from it. I'm not making it
Yes.
up. Yeah. Xena on a top.
Onatop, that's it.
Yeah, of course.
Onatop.
She's always on the top, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry for that little interlude.
No, that's
Because
good.
I couldn't understand the time period.
Yeah.
And I
So they're
still-
fighting over
Well, anyway, fighting over what? How long were they together?
assets.
5
Years?
5
2
years.
years.
No, not that long.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think. Oh,
No, sorry,
I think
5
this one
years.
died in
5 to 10.
2005. She
Oh,
started
no,
up
so they
with
met
him.
in 2003. So let's say they knew each
No,
other
that was
for
just
9 and they were
George. Oh.
together for 7.
Yeah, but she was shagging George at that time. Sorry, she was shagging at this guy at the time. George disappears in 2005, doesn't he?
Correct.
yes.
Yeah.
So let's say 5 years to 2010. What
Yes.
earnings does she think she can get her hands on? Anyway, she's clearly not doing it.
Well,
She's not going down the legal route here. Anyway, is the point?
Right, she's a gangland character.
A mole.
She's
a
mob
mole,
boy.
a gangland
She's a gangland mole. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Robyn gave Aaron a security pass that would get him into the basement car park of the building that she and Wayne had once lived in. Aaron went there 3 times with knives to carry out Robyn's bidding. However, he can't be the sharpest tool in the shed, or maybe he
Or his knives weren't.
hadn't finished his training. Yeah, that's right. He was never able to catch Wayne in the right circumstance to follow through.
What are the right
Then-
circumstance though? Like, you know,
The
could you just
stabbing one.
lie down on the ground and
Yeah.
shut your eyes so I can stab you and it won't upset me?
At my gym, that's exactly what happened. In real life, I'm worried that if I say sit down or lie down, he won't do it, and therefore I better rethink my plan.
Or if he really was training like Xena Olatov, he just couldn't quite get him in the right position. It's like, just come here, let me wrap my legs around you.
Yeah.
Get off me, you weirdo.
He wasn't good at walking on his hands. Then, in January 2013, are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Aaron suffered a brain injury and was unable to carry out the killing.
How inconvenient. How
That
rude.
should have been a sign from God.
Poor Robyn. All that hard work and still no murder.
All that
she's
gym
onto-
time.
Oh, God.
Waste.
What a waste of time. What happened to him?
A dumbbell fell on his head.
I'm not. Yeah, probably. Or he fell on his head trying to walk on his hands to chase people so he could crush them in his thighs. I don't know. Robyn was a doer and was most certainly not going to let this setback foil her plans. All she needed was a new boyfriend that would fall under the spell of her magic pussy. By this time, she was a heavy meth user. Schmitty, speaking of being
Shock me.
unattractive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And moved into a flat in Preston in Melbourne's north.
Oh, she's really.
It was
I
here
hate to
that
say it, but
she
she's
met
going
her man.
downhill the whole time. She should have stayed in the mahogany room, mate. She was doing well there.
Yeah.
I know, right? That there was. She could have stayed ice skating,
True.
but for that injury, that damn injury.
Yeah.
In Preston, it was that she met her man, Torsten Trabert. Torsten was born in Germany and moved to Melbourne with his parents in 1970. He'd always had a low IQ. Years of
Whoops.
Sorry, he'd always had a low IQ. I mean,
She's gone from
had-
someone who's incurred a brain
did
injury
he
to
have?
someone who's
Yeah, true.
not the brightest guy. And she's now on meth, I guess.
and
Did
years
he
of
have-
drug abuse
Right.
had caused mild brain damage.
Right.
Oh.
He hadn't been the
Yeah.
sharpest tool in the shed to start with.
with.
And then
Yeah,
he
correct.
added insult to injury. Okay.
In 2013,
Brain injury, as it turns out.
correct. In 2013, he was addicted to meth, out of work, and madly in love with Robyn. It's a catch. They're both good, aren't they?
Might
two
as
moved-
well face it, I'm addicted to meth.
Meth.
Might as well face it.
The two moved into her apartment and began a torrid, sexually charged relationship,
Oh.
even though Torsten was married at the time.
I
Oh.
love that reaction. Oh.
I've just got visions of meth heads.
I've got. I had a
Oh.
flashback to that awful story you did, Swanee, when
Yeah.
you did Shameless Mick. Ugh, I was just
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
about
the
the
phase.
feral caravan wife swapping feralness.
Just rooting.
That's
Just
what I
root.
think.
Just
root
rooting.
rats.
Just root rats, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I picture when you're like torrid sexual film. Like, oh, yuck. Okay.
And he's married at the time. So Robyn had well and truly cast her MP spell, and Torsten had fallen deeply under it.
Which was very attractive.
So much so that when Robyn asked him to kill for her,
he said, no
he
worries.
readily agreed. Like,
Oh, God.
it's just so... Remember, we often talk about who are these people that just say, can you kill for me?
Sure.
And they say yes. God. In late November 2013, Wayne had spoken to his friends about a weight being lifted from his shoulders in the belief his bitter dispute with his former lover was over. His retirement nest egg, a $1.1 million property at Bittern, owned by the pair near Flinders, was finally on the market. Wayne was happy and it seemed at last to have rid himself of a troubled past relationship. On the 10th of December, Torsten and his friend John Anthony Ryan, who was also addicted to meth,
Oh.
Everyone I kill, I do it for you.
Torsten and John drove to Wayne's apartment building, where they entered the basement car park using the security card provided by Robyn. Here, they lay in wait for Wayne to return. Now, I just want you to think back to the start of the story where I was telling you that there was a lot of blood in the car park of the place that my friend had bought. Well,
Yes.
here they lay in wait for Wayne to return. Like, surely if she does listen to this podcast, because she doesn't know the detail of the killings, because clearly she doesn't want to.
What?
But
She
if she
never
does-
found out. She just told you to find out.
She sent a link to my friend saying, here's the story, doesn't want to know about it. But I reckon this is why, because how could you go to that car park at night knowing that people had previously laid in wait? Like,
fair point.
I mean, that could happen in any car park, but sure.
But it's already happened here. Like, it's got form. That car park has form.
Okay, right.
It'll be scary.
Here they lay in wait for Wayne to return. Wayne had been at a restaurant in Toorak, after which he returned home, unaware of what was about to happen. When he exited his car, Torsten and John grabbed him. They beat him and forced him into the boot of their car. Torsten drove the car to the flat he and Robyn shared. As they were getting out, a neighbour approached and could hear mumbling from inside the boot.
Oh, God.
It was Wayne begging for his life.
Let him out, neighbour.
You don't have to go this far. I'll do anything, Wayne pleaded. This must have been super terrifying for both Wayne and the neighbour.
Yeah.
And you would think that Torsten would be fearful of being caught.
No.
Instead of trying to hide what was going on or abduct the neighbour to prevent him from ratting him out, Torsten asked the neighbour if he would help finish it.
What?
He did what?
What the actual...
Do you have a machete or something?
Sorry, mate. I'm not very good at this. Can you help finish it? Because I've tried.
What do you got in your shed?
Jesus.
My God. The neighbour refused and left.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that's
see
a
you
hard
around.
no from me, mate.
Yeah.
I'm out.
We're
Method.
not.
No.
We're going to open the boot now. We're going to let that guy out, and I'm going to, or I'll call the police.
Right. Maybe
Phrase.
he's worried.
I would have thought maybe I wouldn't be
Terrified.
saying that. Given I would be like
terrified.
going. If you're asking me for help, you'd be happy to kill
That's
anybody.
stupid who said, "Could you help me finish it?" You know, there'd be something about it. You're like, this can't be real.
Well,
Anyway.
and meth head, you'd be like, oh, crazy meth heads.
Oh yeah.
They're just weird as
If I was the
fuck.
neighbour, I'd say, yep.
Probably
just let me
happened
do
all
it.
the
Give me
time.
the keys.
Yeah.
I'll unlock him. You two go inside because he hasn't seen your face yet. I'll take him with me and I'll finish it over at my house. Then ring the cops.
And then call the cops. Yeah.
All done.
So the neighbour refused and left. 2 days later, Robyn, Torsten, and John drove to Mount Coorong and hid Wayne's body. They then spent several hours drinking at a hotel.
I bet they did.
As you do. Did they have dinner as well and sex? That's often what happens
Oh.
after a murder.
Yeah, and they didn't go shopping either.
Oh, and did they get KFC?
Remember Diana? Yeah, no, that's because they're not on death row. It's not their last
Not
meal.
yet,
Yeah. On the 11th of December 2013, so a day later, Wayne and Robyn were due to appear in court regarding a property dispute.
Oh, for God's sake.
However, neither
didn't show
appellant
up.
appeared.
Oh, she didn't
right.
either, right.
Neither of them did.
Well, there's no point for her to attend. She knows he's not going to show up.
Correct. Wayne Amy's son reported him missing when his father failed to show up to work at his gym. 3 days after Wayne's death, Schmitty, you'll like this bit, police spotted Torsten driving Wayne's car with Robyn a passenger in the vehicle.
Oh, my God.
They tried to pull him over. However, Torsten took off, sparking a pursuit, leading police onto a bike path in Brunswick West and into Moonee Ponds Creek in a bid to escape. I know, right?
Yeah.
The dog squad finally tracked them to a drain where they were hiding in water up to their necks.
Oh, for goodness sake. Must have been
There is-
raining. Yeah.
There's literally photos of Robyn being cuffed and pulled,
Out of a drain.
walked across what looks like
brilliant.
Moonee Ponds Creek,
Well, it is by the sound of it.
all wet and, oh, God.
Good. What a loser.
Where does a shag?
Stick to ice skating.
God.
The moral of the story is if you start in a science course hoping to get into vet, don't drop into TAFE. I think that's where it happened. Or if your name's Robin, don't call your boyfriend Batman.
I think that's
I'm
the
not
moral
sure.
of the story.
Wayne's corpse was found a week after his death. He was 54 at the time. The exact cause of death was unclear. However, multiple injuries, stab wounds, and lacerations were inflicted on his ribs, neck, and head.
Oh, gross.
So before we go to the actual trial, not our trial, I wanted to tell you about another person, another victim, not necessarily of Robyn's, but this is one that is suspicious. So Shari Davidson was an exotic dancer and former circus trapeze artist. On the 17th of February 1995, she left a strip club in Dandenong at about 10:50 p.m. in the company of a female colleague. The pair travelled to Croydon and remained at the sporting club for a short time before travelling to the Mentone Hotel. They remained there with two male friends until about 1 a.m. Shari and one of the men, who was her boyfriend at the time, left the hotel and went back to a nearby residence in Hampton, where they stayed until 2 a.m. before taking a taxi to Crown Casino. At about 7 a.m., it's a fair bender, Shari's boyfriend left her on her own at the casino, and that was the last time he saw her. It is believed that Shari left the casino at about 7:40 a.m. and travelled home to Footscray in a taxi. Police have been able to establish that Shari later left her Footscray home. Where do these people sleep? Made 2 phone calls sometime between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. from a public phone box at a nearby service station on Ballarat Road in Footscray. One of the calls was to Shari's employer, confirming she would be at work that evening. I would be dead tired.
Yeah.
Not planning on going to work. However, like me, if I had have made that phone call after the night she's had, she never arrived. The second call was to her boyfriend, arranging to meet him to collect personal items, including her mobile phone charger. Detective Inspector Andrew Stamper of the Missing Persons Squad said police believed Shari was murdered, and despite an extensive investigation, they're still searching for answers. At the time of her disappearance, she was 27 years old and the mother of a baby still in nappies. An inquest in 2001 found that Shari Davidson had a taste for drugs, booze, and bad men, and she was pronounced mysteriously dead. She had, in the weeks before her disappearance, confided that she was in serious trouble. A gang of young Greeks dealing in speed and guns around Richmond featured prominently in the inquest.
Greeks, you
Now,
say?
remember, George was the head of a gang of Greeks in Richmond.
Yeah.
So, Schmitty, to your point earlier, how many Greeks are in this?
Just ask the Trojans. And I don't mean the condoms. Yeah.
Shari's housemate in Footscray at the time of her disappearance was gang member and prime suspect, Nick Kitsukilius.
Shit. She was hanging with the wrong crowd.
Robyn and Shari had worked for the same agency, Simply Irresistible website, and were said to have been close friends.
She's
George
so
was named.
Fine. There's no telling where the money
Where
went.
the money went. Where the body went.
Oh, too soon. Even though it's 30
George
years
was
ago.
named at a 2001 inquest into Shari's murder, and whilst Robyn and George's names can be seen when Googling who killed Shari Davidson, there is no evidence that either of them were responsible.
Oh, I like that. And whilst you can see their names when Googling, that would suggest that there's a lot of scuttlebutt to suggest that they've done it.
There's a lot of scuttlebutt,
Gossip
and there's
and scuttlebutt,
nothing.
yeah.
There's nothing to say that they did it, but she
no
is
evidence.
someone that is
A person of interest in the case.
Correct. Well, possibly, yeah.
Ish.
Anyway, let's go to trial.
Oof, all right.
So, Robyn and Torsten were charged with murder. The trial heard how Lindholm had asked, Lindholm being Robyn, had asked a succession of boyfriends to kill her ex, Wayne Amy. I think we've both heard the same evidence. She'd made a request of Kyle Elliott and then Aaron Ardley and finally Travitt. Now, the real court didn't hear this, but the trial by court will definitely hear that she must have had some serious magic pussy going on. Robyn's lawyer, John Kelly, asked for leniency because she was remorseful. But Justice Lex Lasry, sounds like a Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Didn't buy it. He said, "I'm sure that you are ashamed and embarrassed. But the real question is whether you genuinely regret what you have done. I frankly do not see any sign of that.
Wow.
He was immune to her spells.
Good.
Robyn was angry and vengeful, Justice Lasry said. Killing Wayne was futile and unnecessary, and dumping his body on a lonely mountaintop was callous. He jailed Robyn for 25 years and Torsten for 28. John Ryan, their meth head friend, was sentenced to 31 years.
Was he described with the
Lindholm-
court
He got
papers
more? Did he get more? Or did I miss
Yeah.
something?
he got more. He got more. Yeah, I'll
Their
tell you
meth
why.
head friend.
Good pickup, their meth head friend. Yes, that's trial by wine. That's not directly quoting from the court documents. Lindholm got a discount for pleading guilty. Trabbit did too because he led police to the body.
Okay.
Then, nearly 6 months later, on May 31st, 2016, detectives visited Robyn in prison and charged her with a second murder.
Oh.
Police believed they had cracked the mystery of her missing former fiancé, George Teasis, who vanished in 2005.
Right.
During her time in prison, she had been close to her father, and her mother visited her twice a week in jail. Swanee talking back about how the parents must have felt. They still did everything for her.
Her mum's got to be called Sue, or, Sue. Auntie Sue.
Oh.
What another neighbour? Robyn. Oh, their daughter's name, so Robyn, Sue,
Yeah.
Joan. Yeah.
Dorothy. So I
Dot.
think that
Oh,
works.
Dot
Dot.
Linda.
Yeah.
Dot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dot.
Yeah.
Oh, Dot.
So, in fact, her mother moved to Melton so she could be closer to the maximum security prison where her daughter was being held.
Nice.
In the trial for George's murder, Justice Beale said, "You did not want for affection from your parents, and they would go without to ensure your material needs were met." He also raised the question, what had turned Robyn from a loved and happy, high-achieving girl to a cruel, vengeful killer, now serving back-to-back sentences for murdering two men she once adored. One witness told the court that Robyn had stated they got George at the house and put him on a boat. They dismembered him and threw him into the water. Other versions included Robyn bragging to a fellow prisoner, "I slit his fucking throat. And as he came, it was the best orgasm I ever had," adding she got
What?
covered in warm blood. So they were apparently having a bit and she slit his throat while they were doing it. I think that's her bragging in prison. I don't think that's
What was the name of the thigh-killing murderess?
On a top.
Yeah.
The senior on a
On a
top.
top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's revolting.
She probably was on a top. Although she said she got covered in blood, so maybe not. On
Spurts.
another occasion,
Spurts, yeah.
she told a man she'd beaten Mr. Templeton to death with a fire poker
She's just
after
making
drugging his
bullshit
pepper
up.
steak, having turned the music up loud to drown out the noise.
But we know that's not true because she went out with her friends who could corroborate that she was somewhere else, and then he disappeared.
They also heard that during her time in jail, Robyn had confided in a cellmate in 2015 that Mr. Templeton got what he deserved, and I enjoyed every fucking minute of it.
Oh.
Justice Beale made reference to an entry in Robyn's diary, dated May the 3rd, 2005, the day George disappeared. The diary entry included hand-drawn love hearts with arrows through them and the name Batman.
Oh.
The jury heard that Robyn fed George a steak and pepper sauce meal, spiked it with sleeping pills, and shots of Greek brandy.
Who's Metaxa? Yeah.
Yep, and then she left with her friends so she'd have an alibi while Amy did her bidding. So they're saying Wayne did the
So,
killing.
yeah, she didn't do the murdering. That's it.
Correct. Templeton's body has never been found, but jurors were satisfied he was either murdered at the home he shared with Robyn or abducted from there and murdered elsewhere. She was convicted by a jury as part of a joint criminal enterprise with Amy to kill Templeton. Robyn Lindholm was sentenced to 28 years for his murder in order to serve 14 years of that on top of the 25 she received for Wayne's murder. Of the 39-year maximum, she must serve 30 years before becoming eligible for parole.
Wow.
And that, my friends, is the story of the bloody car park. What do you think?
That was a good lead that you got.
Oh, what a cracker.
I know,
I had
right?
another story lined up to do, and I saw that. I'm like, I'm doing that. That's great.
Wow.
Yes.
Never heard of it.
No, me neither.
It's not strange when you think you know and you're sort of aware of things, and then she sounds like quite a piece of work. Her poor parents. God.
Oh, she's one of those ones that, there's nothing in her upbringing that kind of makes you think it's okay. She just wanted the easy
She
way,
got
I
onto
think.
differently. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. There you go. Schmitty?
Well, it's one of those that you get really angry about because she's outsourced her work.
100%.
Mm.
What about poor man who had a brain
Injury.
brain injury
We don't
before
know
he
how.
could
Well,
follow through?
Well, you say poor man, but he got a lucky break, frankly.
Well,
it doesn't.
I don't know.
I mean, it's how you look at things, right? He could be in jail for 30 years, or he could have a brain injury for his whole life, but not kill someone.
Yeah.
Correct.
You call it a brain injury. It was an awakening.
Sliding doors. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'll just try to see the positive in everything, right? Yeah, goodness me. What a piece of work. I just think it's one of those ones where, there's no childhood trauma that we're aware of. There's nothing that indicates why someone who's, had a good upbringing, really good opportunities, gone to school, gone to Monash, then just goes, no, I think I'm going to go and work at a casino, and then I think I'll be a stripper, and then I think I'll organise murders because I want to be a gangland mole.
And I want more money.
Yeah, it's all about the pursuit of wealth, for sure. Go on,
I think
Swanee.
so. I think that there seems to be sort of a kink in the chain of, what happened when she heads off to Monash and she can't work it out, whether it be because she wasn't bright enough or it was just too hard, or, she didn't seem to be able to stick with it then. And then, with each little step down that she had, I thought she's probably getting further away from the life that she probably thought she was going to have. And then going to a car dealership is quite an odd choice, really, or direction. Maybe it was, someone knew somebody or whatever else. But really,
might have been owned by someone dodgy.
Yeah, when she got to Crown and she saw I wouldn't even call it the money. It's literally the fast life, right? And if she's being all of a sudden, oh, you're so beautiful, this leggy blonde kind of thing, there comes a little bit of power with that, right?
Yes.
You think there is and there isn't, but there in a world like that, when you're hot stuff, initially
she's in control.
Initially, you are, right, and then you think, well, actually, I quite like this, and I'm hot, and then she heads on down to do the stripping and whatever else. It's a pretty slippery slope, but I mean, this is really textbook in that sense. I mean, not necessarily the murderous bit at the end, but it's like, okay, well, where are we going to go from? Being around gambling and bad characters to the stripping, to the drugs, all, it's like, oh God, it's all quite predictable, really. It's like the gateway.
Yeah, but the relationship with Afghan Gitano is pretty significant, I would think.
Yeah.
Like, well, as local Melbourne people, I'm sure you'd really,
And she wanted to run with the wolves, yeah.
Yeah, so funnily enough, I wanted to be a vet. I tried to get into veterinary science and I didn't get in. I went and studied science and I tried again to get into veterinary science and I didn't get in. But I didn't go and work at a second-hand car dealership nor become a stripper.
They ended up at Foxtel instead.
Well, yeah, via a couple of other incarnations.
The rest, as they say, is history.
I just think she had a thing for the easy way. So she loved all of the material stuff and the life in the fast lane, all of that. Had no interest in working for it. She
might have initially, but as things get harder, she started to take the easier run. No. I think well, she never had it that hard in the first place. She went to bloody Malvern Grammar. She went to top school. She went to she was platformed, right, to be successful.
But that's part of my point. She hasn't had to work as hard as a lot of people do. And I think when the going gets tough for her, she struggles and she does want the easy way. And I think that, the stripping, the drugs, that whole thing, particularly when you're the one getting everyone else to do your dirty work, is all about the easy road. And
using your sexuality to get what you want, really, is what she's done from the point
but
where...
I don't have a problem with that per se. I mean, we all do that to some degree. Not with
It's
mobsters,
the-
but go think back to our youth, Swanee.
Yeah, she was. I had to say at the beginning, she was very young to start with. She was very young to start with.
And we've all used our looks.
So how old was she by the time she was arrested, Clarky? What age do we get to by then?
40.
Okay, so
So-
she wasn't young and,
No,
I
but
mean,
she
she's-
still had.
she's
a
not
certain-
ugly, or
No,
being
not at all.
a meth head version of herself.
Yes, correct.
So,
I
you know,
She's
wouldn't
still-
do
yeah.
her, but you know.
That gives you the shell of what you were.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, she's not pretty, but
I
I mean,
wouldn't-
she's
I
got
don't
the
think
long
she's
blonde
attractive.
hair.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah, I don't know. I don't find her attractive ever. I've seen that glamour shot of her with her in her pants and bra.
I'm not sure you're the one that we should be asking as an expert
No,
on
I
this.
mean
though,
I can
Schmitty.
appreciate a good-looking female, but
I can appreciate the
not as
female
much as-
form.
I do
Alphonse
appreciate the
Gangitano
female
can.
form, and you're right. I don't have the same urges as a heterosexual male because I'm a heterosexual female, but I can appreciate a good-looking bird, and I kind of get it. She doesn't rock my boat. Just saying.
I would have liked a few more photos.
She sounds like she's very ugly on the inside.
I don't think we
Mm.
got the best imagery of her, Swanee. I think you're right.
Yeah.
She's definitely ugly on the
Post-drain.
inside.
Yeah,
I
post
like the drain
that was
shot. The
pretty
drain's
hot.
one of my favourites.
Oh, how bad is
I know,
that?
exactly.
Like, talk about a sewer rat. Like,
It's
Yes.
so suburban. Like, it's just hilarious. This idea of being caught on the
Oh.
Moonee Ponds Creek of all places.
oh no! For God's sakes!
You know, for our listeners,
going down a
it's-
bike path in
the
Brunswick
Moonee
West.
Ponds Creek
like-
sounds nice, but it's not. It's a drain. It's a storm
Yeah.
drain that
Oh,
runs.
gross.
It's sort of, there are
Think-
sections of it that are nice, but by the time where we get to where we're telling this story, it's a big concrete storm drain.
Do you know what I think of? Grease.
Yes,
I was going to say it's like
that.
Grease
Grease.
or the Terminator, but a
Alright.
much smaller one. So
A
you'd be
smaller version
racing
of it.
remote control cars rather than actual
A much
cars
smaller
down it.
version of it,
That's
right.
exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's not a
Kinnicky.
it's not a cool or hot place to be.
No.
And you're right. She comes out.
It's
She's drenched. in,
Right.
let's face it, sewage and drain water and grossness.
Oh,
yeah.
like,
Which is
yeah, it wouldn't be
probably
sewage,
fitting.
but may as well.
Could
There probably
be.
would be elements of
Mm.
dog poo washed in there. for
Absolutely.
sure.
Oh, my
100%.
God.
All right. So, what do we think about sentencing?
Good question.
Would you get 39 years in total?
30 years as a minimum before she's eligible for
She's
parole.
she's
Went in at what, 40 or
orchestrated the
something?
death of 2 people, possibly 3.
Correct.
Why do we think she killed Sherry or Shari?
We don't. There's no evidence, Schmitty, that she killed her.
but why
they
would
did
they
work
even think
together,
that there was a motivation?
and there was the Greek.
So what? That doesn't.
Well,
There might be a connection, but I wouldn't say that she's.
what I'm saying is that there's a lot of bits where those two come up
Deirdre Chambers, what a
Um,
coincidence.
in relation. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it
Confided
doesn't-
in her or something.
So that's why I made the point. There's no evidence,
Yeah,
but
okay.
there seems
There's a
to
lot of
be
scuttlebutt.
suspicion.
So we don't have to
Yeah.
factor that in at this point. We just
Correct.
have to
Just,
go for
just the
The
two.
guy.
We know
Yeah.
of 2 men.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 men who had children and families who no longer have those men in their lives.
One of whom killed the other.
True. That old black magic has me in its spell.
But that in
That
smell.
old black magic pussy has
Has
a
it?
terrible smell.
Well, it's got a good smell for some, say Clarky.
Those icy fingers.
Up and down my
God.
spine.
We've talked about what sort of motivated her. I don't know. Maybe we could get her back on the ice. Let's think.
Sorry, what?
Oh, I went the ice skating. No,
She was a
the
meth
ice.
head. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant put her on
Yeah.
drugs. I'm like, we're already
No,
there.
I didn't
What?
mean that. I meant ice skating. I was like, what do we know about her that I can go back to?
I think for one, she should go and clean up my friend's car park. Get rid of any hint of blood.
I don't know anything that matters to her. So, like, I know that, we talked about her originally wanting to be a vet, but it's not like she's got children or she's got relationships with somebody that means a lot. I don't know what means a lot to her. Do you know what I mean? She's just sort of got what she wants the whole way through. So
I
I
think
don't-
hard work would be a punishment for her.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe not being able to use her feminine wiles might be a punishment for her if that didn't seem to be able something that she could use to leverage her.
Are you going to trans her against her will?
Well, I wasn't, but actually, what a great idea.
Imagine that if she had a
We'll probably
little
have
friend
people come for me
downstairs
for
that
that.
when she did try to use her MP, they took off her dress and went, oh, what? And she'd go, I've got a little something for you.
Well, they probably like it. I don't think that's punishment.
They'd
They'd
probably like it.
they'd
Yeah,
probably
right.
like it.
Mm.
Maybe we could have like a
You know,
collective punishment.
she'd certainly get some transphobia action going on. I don't know. There's an element of sewer rat that I kind of think we could work into the punishment too. You could trans her against her wish and then have sewer rats nibbling at her bits. That wouldn't be nice.
It would be
while
very
she's trying
unpleasant.
to clean the car park. I think there needs to be some level of work
Maybe you could just
involved.
like
You're
turn
really
back
keen on that car
time.
park being cleaned up.
Well, I just think there needs to be work. I would like
There
also
needs
for
to
my
be a
friend to
clean
have
car
a
park.
blood-free
What about if
car
we
park.
took it back to like when she first was getting that taste of I keep calling it the fast life intentionally, not the high life, because you know I think it's there's that
in the fast lane.
there's a demarcation between she grew up in the high, like from what I can understand, she was amongst people who were the high life. This is but this is not what she was appealed to her. What appealed to her ultimately was the gangsters and the little bit of
The
danger.
risque shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know, the darker side of things. But I wonder if we could have stopped this whole thing and nipped it in the bud if the very first impression that any of them had of her was her coming out of a drain, not looking her hot stripper self. I'm sure that so that she was just unappealing, unattractive, and no one thought of anything other than the level of sort of disdain for her.
When you see her in the imagery of her coming out of the drain, she's got like perm hair that's got wet. Maybe we enforce that she could never have any hairdo that's anything other than that. Because
and it's got to stink like the Moonee Ponds
wet
Creek.
dog perm kind of thing.
Wet dog perm. And it smells like that, and she can't. There's no drying it. It's just permanently like that.
I like it.
That will balance the MP.
Yeah, we need to balance the MP.
That's what it is.
We need to drown it out.
Not allowing her to have anyone attracted to the MP. So we've got to. It's like sage it out, but this time we'll shaggy dog it out. If in doubt, shaggy dog it out. So she's going to have that. She's probably going to have a few pock marks from excessive drug use.
Bit of facial hair.
Yeah,
maybe
teeth.
Yeah,
all of the stuff that came later on, have it come out early on.
Much earlier on. Meth jaw. All the stuff that comes later comes earlier on. As a warning. And so the gentlemen who become involved with her think twice, because they don't come under the spell. They're not as affected.
No, it's not an easy sell.
All black magic does not affect them. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm good, thanks, love.
Either that or an unfortunate ice skating accident where she gets both her legs chopped off
or a slice across the face.
Oh, cheapers. That is good.
I was thinking
disfigurement. Yeah.
I know.
Maybe both.
Yeah. What were you going to say? What was cut off?
Well,
from
slice, but her legs cut off so that she can't get up to all of the things that she was.
She won't be the leggy blonde. She'll just be.
She won't be the legless blonde.
Stumpy.
The leggy method with the shaggy dog hairstyle.
With the honey blonde hair.
We're just going to sentence her to general unattractiveness so that she can't impact and suck these fellas in.
We'll just make her outside look like her inside.
Yes, there we go. Nice. I like that. That's tight. It took us a while, but nice, tidy.
Okay.
Well done.
Tidy. All right, good one. Well, thanks for that, Clarky.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Pleasure.
Nice connection to the old underbelly. All very exciting.
She was so busy.
She was.
So busy. And friends who recommended it or who it happened to.
Thank you very much.
Let me know what you think if you do listen to it.
We'll call the Busy Beaver.
Thanks for the tip.
Busy Beaver, episode 171. The Busy Beaver. Okay. And on that note, as we say every week, miss you already.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine. or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.